Welcome to the very first episode of the Ballinesian Podcast 2025 here on the Polytickin Network. Definitely support through the Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on the socials, and definitely rate 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This is the Ballinesian Podcast, Islanders talking sports, Charger and Raider fan diving into football. We are sponsored by Vasa Island Apparel. Check them out on Instagram at le_Vasa. Get your chunky style tees. Definitely check out the merch and what's going on there, brother. Shout out to brother Uriah down there in Modesto. Follow along. Check out the stories for what's coming out of the capsules. What exactly is up for grabs there on le_Vasa on Instagram. Coach Forrest, I'm Lance. We're going to be diving into the NFL playoffs now that Week 18 is over. The season is donezo. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Forrest, your Raiders this year, what are your thoughts?
We were cool, man. Just had to figure out a few things. Had some injuries here and there. We'll be all right. We just letting the rest of the league do what they do before, we kind of slowly take over. We're getting there.
Yeah, lining things up. It was the first year of
Right,
GM
right,
Tom Telesco, first full year of
right.
head coach Antonio Pierce.
Right. We used to do like we used to have a what do you call it again? A strategy of picking like position wise, but we have a new strategy. It's best player available in the draft now. So we've done that. We got Brock Bowers this year, 2025. We're gonna go same strategy, best player available, and I think at six, we'll probably have guys like I think Will Johnson might be available at cornerback. We could go that route. We could take because of the draft order, Titaroa McMillan. For all
Nice.
you broadcasters who've been calling him Titaroa, uh, his name is not Titaroa, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, that could be. Imagine him, Brock Bowers, and Jacoby Myers.
Nice.
Having quarterbacks to throw to him, or we could go running back wise. There are some running back needy teams in the league, but I think at six we're probably in a good spot to if we had to go that route. Gency might be available there. Cam Scadaboo is another guy. I don't know if we take him at six, but it is an option. So there were some injuries, like I said earlier. There were some injuries. We
Yeah.
lost Christian Wilkins, early on in the season.
It's cool.
You know,
It was what it
right,
was.
right,
4 and 13. That's not going to be what it is next year. You
right,
guys have
right.
the sixth
No,
overall pick.
definitely,
You're going to get a blue chipper. You don't think you
definitely.
guys are going to be able to get a quarterback, or would you be willing to take a quarterback if one slides to you? Cam Ward from Miami, Shadur Sanders from Colorado.
If those guys slide, then they probably aren't the guys that we need at six. You know what I mean? Because they've been talked about as the literally the one and two at in the draft this year coming. So yeah, if they slide, I'm not too sure if like we'd want to take a quarterback after that, even if it's Shador or Cam. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first 3 picks in the draft seem like quarterback needy teams. The Tennessee Titans probably moving off of Will Levis. The Cleveland Browns are stuck with Deshaun Watson's contract, but he tore his Achilles. Like, he's not going to be ready next year. And they just announced he had a setback. So Deshaun Watson might be getting paid, but he might not play another down for the Cleveland Browns, who are picking second.
That's
And then
true.
third is the New York Giants, who are definitely not sticking with Tommy DeVito. So likely the Raiders, who had, were in line to take the first overall pick 3 weeks ago. Now finish, went after that 2-game win streak. You guys were like 10th, but now back up to sixth after the final
Back
week.
up to
So
six.
you're still in range to land somebody crazy good, a top 6 player in the NFL draft. That's
Definitely,
blue chipper,
definitely.
and like you said, don't try to fill a quarterback if quarterbacks are already gone. Don't
No,
try to
yeah,
fill a certain position. Just take whatever monster best player is available there and just have him become like a 8-10 year contributor to your team at
definitely.
a high level. So what's what do you think the offseason is? You think Antonio Pierce is sticking around? You think You guys are bringing in a like a free agent quarterback. Anything you see on the horizon for the Las Vegas team?
I I personally would like to keep Antonio Pearson,
Yeah,
give
same.
him a fair shot. Have him with the team that maybe some guys who can stay healthy and play a little bit more talent at the quarterback position. Just going back to the draft, I have been vocal. I'm not really a fan of Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. If we had to draft one, I do like Shador Sanders. I think he's a little bit more suited for the NFL game. I know it's just the way he plays, but Cam Ward seems so like nonchalant at times, and I think it's maybe it's just him being easygoing on the field, but sometimes he needs to show. I think he needs to show a little bit more urgency. Just I don't know. That's me. But there are some quarterbacks out there that'll be available. Starting with the most obvious, the Minnesota starter right now, Minnesota Vikings starter Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will be available as a free agent. I don't know how available that is because the Vikings are very adamant. They've been adamant about re-signing him. So
So a 4-year deal for 50 million a year.
I think he deserves what he's going to get this year. After what he had to endure with the New York Jets, all the slander that was given to him when he left, not knowing it was probably Gase that all his doing, just ruining quarterbacks over there. You know,
Seeing ghosts, all that.
right.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to be hot just like year one, year two, year three. Like you're
Right.
not Mark Sanchez. Like
With
the
no Mark
Darnold,
Sanchez wasn't even Mark Sanchez. Take it easy with that USC fan.
what AFC Championship first
Oh
and
my.
second year?
You didn't you know that? He had
What?
a he had a running game
Nah.
to help. Stop it. Stop it.
Ladarian. Yeah. Okay. So Sam Darnold. The only problem though is this last game where they were fighting for the number one seed with the Lions. Sam Darnold looked like Jets, like kind of like Jets Sam Darnold, like Panthers Sam Darnold. And I don't know, the Lions, as crazy how injured and undermanned they are, and then suffered even more injuries in this Sunday night game. Terry and Arnold, I think, was out. Zeitler out. Uh, and to still lose to them when you have a chance to take the number one seed, to get the bye week, the first weekend of the playoffs, and to not have to go on the road, and to not come through in that big moment might invalidate some of Sam Darnold's season so far. And they're like, well, I guess this is the real Sam Darnold. We were able to hide it, for 16 weeks, but it came out in a really big moment when the Lions, pressured him. So maybe he's not the guy, and we should just because they have JJ McCarthy. They took JJ McCarthy with the 10th overall pick or the ninth, whatever it was. They have a first round rookie quarterback waiting in the wings. That's the decision they have to make. It's either between JJ McCarthy or giving Sam Darnold because he's going to ask for a max contract because he's a good quarterback, right? He's got the stats, he's got the season to make the case. But do you give him 4 years, $200 million, or do you spread that out for the rest of your roster? You got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, a bunch of other weapons you got to pay anyway. So I mean, that's why you get the rookie quarterback is to have the rookie contract, right?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, too, Sam Darnold, he has come in. He is leading them to the playoffs. Um, like you said, he has the numbers. He's produced since he's been there, and I don't think they're too far off. Like their defense actually is pretty good. Like blitzing the quarterback, going after the quarterback, their strategy of getting you like third and long or third and whatever, and then just all out blitzing you on third. It's working for them. They've got some pretty decent corners. No real superstars out there in the defensive backfield, but their defense is solid. So spreading it out maybe to keep some guys, that would be smart, but I think they have enough money to keep the guys they need and pay Sam Darnold right now and still say a solid team for next season. But like with JJ
Gotcha.
McCarthy, not proven. He wasn't that great
True.
in the preseason, where those are the only games he played.
Oh,
Got hurt,
he hurt his knee.
right,
Yeah,
right.
for
Hurt
the
his knee in
preseason.
preseason, was done for the season, and then so you still have he still people don't understand that he's so much farther behind than you would want him to be because one, he didn't really get an off season. He got hurt for that. coming this, he had to rehab just to get back. Now he's got to get back into game shape. Um, Maybe learn the offense really, because yeah, you can read a whole bunch of stuff, but if you're not out there going through it with the rest of your team and checking the way guys moves, in a certain route, how he runs it, how your offensive line is gonna block for a certain play. Yeah, you're not ready. He's still behind a whole 2 off seasons, to get ready for the.
Damn, that's a
So
lot.
that's a lot, and that's not even counting game time, like game speed. I know football guys probably listen, or just athletes in general, like, well, I can get back. Yes, you can, but it's gonna take some time for him to get back. He's
Uh,
gonna be the quarterback of a NFL franchise. So
Hey, would you rather have the Raiders draft a quarterback in the first round or two? The Raiders sign Sam Darnold for 4 years, 200 million, or the Raiders take like a flyer on a veteran again, like a Minshew or a Rogers or a Aaron.
no, no, definitely not. I don't know if people are paying attention, but if you've seen the way that Aaron Rodgers single-handedly dismantled the framework that some of the people were putting in over there in New York, because they picked up some good guys. They
Damn, yeah.
Quentin Williams, his brother who plays linebacker, Quentin. They also got some guys on offense. The receiver core looks pretty good there. They got 2 great running backs.
I mean, he
Who's
didn't really
No, he did. No, he did.
he didn't like ship
No,
anybody away though, right?
he didn't
Maybe
have to.
Robert
No,
Saleh.
he
He
didn't
might have
have to.
gotten Robert Saleh fired.
That's probably the biggest one of all, because that guy, the guys that played there really played for. They liked him, except for
Yeah, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. So then he
I've
went and
also
got.
seen the interviews where he's talking like, I'm really grateful for my so many years, and it was a really beautiful career, and sounds like he's ready to hang it up.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think he
just hope
belongs in
he's
the
not
NFL.
wearing black and silver next year, and
Hey,
Devontae's back.
I don't pay his paycheck, and I can't
Oh my
say
god.
I'm not the Raiders, but that's definitely one guy I don't want there. I would probably rather see Sam Darnold, because I know it's just people are gonna say it was just a season sample of what he's done great in the league. No, he's been a really decent backup too, and when he's got the chance to play as a backup, he's
Mm.
played pretty well. So he's in a great situation. I would rather much see us spend a good amount of money on him, knowing that he's probably
The floor is
better
higher.
option. Yes, I think.
Experienced vet. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
Garoppolo, like Garoppolo,
no, Garoppolo. No, that
like a Stafford.
I didn't like Garoppolo
What would be
much.
a comparison for
For
bringing in
Sam
Sam
Darnold,
Darnold?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
someone that had a
Stafford,
big year and
Stafford,
then
or like Jared Goff. People calling him out. Went over to Detroit. Now he's had really 2 great seasons with
yeah,
Detroit.
actually
You know what I mean?
Jared
So
Goff is I think
yeah,
3 now.
yeah, 3. So
Uh okay. Yeah, hopefully the Raiders keep Antonio Pierce. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen like the turn like the turnaround yet, but I feel like it's 1 year. The Patriots firing Gerard Mayo, I thought was really quick, but then we talked about that earlier. It's like they have another thing set up with Mike Vrabel, kind of already got the inside track to that.
yeah, and as much as we think is unfair and quick, that's the nature of the game. And I'm pretty sure he understood that, but still sucks to see somebody go like that. Didn't really get a chance to he's actually got some guys playing for him that they were actually responding to they weren't great, obviously, and they are the Patriots. And I know maybe front office, ownership, and fans probably are just super antsy to get back to winning the championship. They were winning. They were the franchise before the Chiefs started winning, before
Maybe it
anybody else
was
was
Tom
making
Brady
noise. I mean, I hope so, because
because
he's
he's
with
with
the
the Raiders now.
Raiders now. So
Nice.
I hope that transfers
All
over,
right.
but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the Raiders with the 6th pick. We will follow all the news throughout the offseason, any sort of hirings, firings, what they plan to do with the pick, what trades they do. So definitely keep it locked through the offseason for the latest in Vegas. Here we go. The NFL playoffs begin with Super Wildcard Weekend. There's going to be 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and a Monday night game. All right. The first game on Wildcard Weekend at Houston are the Los Angeles Chargers. In the playoffs, right? We knew that was going to happen, but something big happened last week when the Steelers lost to the Bengals and the Chargers were able to get the win versus the Raiders. The Chargers finished with a better record than the Steelers, therefore jumping them in the wild card standings. So instead of the 6th seed and going to Baltimore to face MVP Lamar Jackson, King Henry, all those guys, we instead get to go down to H-Town in Texas to visit the struggling Houston Texans, led by C.J. Stroud, coached by DeMeco Ryans. They had the 2nd and 3rd overall pick last year in the NFL draft, took quarterback C.J. Stroud, took defensive end linebacker Will Anderson Jr. The turnaround was immediate, but that sophomore slump definitely hit them hard. They also had injuries to wide receivers Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. I think Collins is back, but the other two are not. So definitely a depleted and kind of demoralized Houston team. And the Chargers are favored by 3 points going into this game. You expect the defense, the team of Jim Harbaugh, the defense of Jesse Minter, to lock down the limited Houston offense and kind of use that Greg Roman ball control, run the ball offense to control the clock, control the game, and exit out of wild card round by advancing to the divisional round is the plan. But yeah, favored by 3. The Chargers favored in a playoff game. How does that what does that make you think? Besides chargering.
Lies. Now, they're in a good position. It means that Harbaugh came in, did his job. Him and Greg Roman, they've established. I think they've established a winning culture there now. I know everybody's probably like, "Well, it's just one season. They've only won so many games." Still, they look different. They feel different from last season. Only within the season. And again, like you said, they barely missed the playoffs last year, but they did miss. And so now they're in totally different team, a change of culture. They brought in guys who can.
Last year we missed the playoffs by a lot.
I know. I just wanted you to say it, but and you big, so great. Yeah, again, change of culture. They brought in guys who can play the system, and the guys there were really receptive to whatever Harbaugh brought in, and they want to win too. So, yeah, I think they're really, really on the. I think the best thing they've done is they've kept Justin Herbert healthy. He's got a little banged up this season, but not like other seasons where he's playing with like a broken finger all year, like sprained ankle, or just getting beat up like every game because he's trying his best to win everything on his own. They gave him a running game, a bruising running game at that, to take some pressure off of him. They've changed the offense to where he can throw and not just he doesn't have to carry the team offensively all the time. What they do need to give him is an wide receiver who can catch the ball without dropping it every other catch. That'd be great for him. But
Oh, you talking about Quentin Johnston?
Is that the guy in your team? Well, okay.
Quentin Johnston? Yeah, man, he's been having a bunch of drops, but this last game and a game that the Chargers needed to win, they definitely forced the issue there with QJ. I think he had career highs in targets, catches, and yards in this game. Because they were throwing into him so much. And I thought, okay, fine. He has 10 catches, but that's like on 25 targets, right? Actually, 14 targets, 13 catches, 186 yards. So
he had one drop.
I mean, yeah, one drop or one miss. But that's the thing, right? Because over the last month, though, it's been like every other ball has been a drop.
And there were significant drops too. Like they came in like the worst times of the game, or there were drops that could have helped him win. So, yeah, force feeding him the ball. Maybe that's their way of getting him over the drops. Because what else are you gonna do? Just have him out there looking like a Christmas ornament, maybe. So you got to give him the work so he can produce.
Yeah, and going up against Houston, I think they have Derek Stingley Jr., Will Anderson again. Henry Toto has an inside linebacker,
Chris Harris.
somebody that we'll be looking at, but I'm not like afraid of the names or maybe just ignorant to them. But I mean, I know D'Amico Ryan's his specialty. He was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco before he got the job turning around the Texans. Obviously, a big linebacker in his own career. But this defense this year doesn't seem like, I feel like they're going off the name that they made last year in that quick turnaround and off of Ryan. So I'm not as worried about the defense this year. I'm definitely not worried about CJ Stroud. His decline this year was crazy. Shout out to brother Luke. I am so sorry. I traded him CJ Stroud for Jahmyr Gibbs in a Superflex league. I thought CJ Stroud was going to do great. But obviously, he had like 4-point games, 5-point games, 9-point
Don't
games.
believe him, Luke. Don't believe him. He did it.
I was so sad. I was sad that didn't work out for everybody.
He had the inside news you didn't know about.
No, he was my keeper from the year before though, so I had him for like a 10th round pick, but I had to ship him off. I needed running back. Wasn't enough to get into the playoffs. So, so the Chargers, I feel like a favorite by 3 points. The over under in this game is 43.5. So like the projected score is 23-20 Chargers. How does that sound to you? Do you think that's too close? I feel like that's too close. Like it's not going to be 23-20. It's going to be like at least a touchdown.
I mean, yeah. I don't think it's too. I think it's going to be a busted out game, but I do think that the Chargers are well more equipped to have like a fist fight. You know what I mean? Like a brawl type of game. I think your O line they're blocking pretty well, especially in the run game. They're keeping Justin Herbert protected, and Justin Herbert, he's not
I saw Zion Johnson fuck up again. Excuse my language. I saw 77 get pushed back into Justin Herbert, and I was like, why do I know who that is? Oh, also left like Pro Bowl, All Pro left tackle Rashawn Slater sat out yesterday, so Joe Alt played left tackle, and then Trey Pipkins played right tackle. Trey Pipkins got hurt. So I'm a little worried there. Definitely need some time off to rest to have that unit that has two really good bookends, but the middles, the guards, the center have been struggling. I think there's a meme where like Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are dominating their one-on-ones, and then the three inside linemen are like all facing each other while Justin Herbert gets sacked by like two guys. And they're like, the problem is the edges are great, but the middle. And Justin Herbert banged up all season, right? Playing through it, definitely showing toughness, but for only so long can the human body take 5-7 quarterback hits, like a game before, things start getting hurt. Ankles, wrists, shoulders, hands. Like we definitely need Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert's not there, Easton Stick's not taking this team to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Talking about that guy's a quality quarterback, man.
Hey, shout out to Easton Stick for getting us to the freaking 5th pick last year with like 6 straight losses to end the season when he took over. But yeah, I think Taylor Heineke is now the
that's right, the backup, man.
Yeah, so this is as good a situation as the Chargers could have hoped for because they avoid Baltimore, they avoid Buffalo in the first round. Which they would have visited with the 6th or 7th seed. So hoping for a really good performance here and a showing versus a Houston team that has been kind of limping to they clinched the AFC South like a month ago, but they've been limping to the finish line ever since.
Yeah,
but CJ Stroud is still so talented. So I don't want to count him out because something could still happen, but we got to take care of business versus this team.
It just looked like he didn't do no work in the offseason. Like he just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back into this new season, do everything I did the same as last season. We'll be okay. And just but like you said, he is full of talent, so you just can't never count them out if he's their quarterback. So
all right. So what are predictions? I think Chargers control this game, win by at least a touchdown.
I think so too. I think maybe by I'll give them a field goal just because I think I think it's a playoff time, and teams do respond differently during playoff time. So, I think most of the Houston defense is going to show up for this game.
it might just be me wish casting, like what I want to happen instead of like looking at really what's going to happen. But
No, but
that's
it
how I
just
see it. I
sounds
feel like
just sound responsible. Um, as far as quarterbacks, I still think the Chargers definitely have the better quarterback. Um, and then at running back, if they can get their guys going, chipping away, they don't even have to average like or hit super big yards. If they're averaging like 4 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry, and just chipping away at the team, making them tired, that's I think that's kind of their identity right now, just really pounding it in there and making the teams tired. So
but then they also have the ability for Justin Herbert to like do one of those play action bombs. If he finds one on one, he trusts his guy to, go up and
definitely,
get that 50-50 ball.
yeah,
My keys to the game: heat up Stroud, make him, real quick, make decisions. You only really have to focus in on Nico Collins as far as pass catchers. I mean, I think they have Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon on the background, whatever. But John Mechie, I think also.
yeah,
But
that's just there.
Stroud definitely his best weapon through the air is going to be Nico Collins, who should be like a Pro Bowler, if not an All Pro. And just stay in control. Don't let this swing somehow into like a Texans double-digit lead. Don't have to fight back, claw back. Just get an early lead, stay in control of this game, and show them what veterans and coaching can do.
I like it.
All right. The next game on Saturday, a AFC North Part 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore at 5 o'clock on Amazon Prime. This one in Week 11, Pittsburgh beat Baltimore in Pittsburgh, but there were like a ton of Baltimore turnovers and punts, missed field goals. Justin Tucker was way off. It was like punt, missed field goal, punt, fumble, punt, end of half, punt, court. It was a really bad game for the Baltimore Ravens, and I think the Steelers won like 18-16. And then in Week 16 in Baltimore, the Steelers got whooped like 34-10 or something like that. Baltimore was in control the whole time. Derrick Henry had like 160 rushing yards. This game, in the wildcard weekend, the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 9.5 points. Like they expect the Ravens to win this comfortably. With a score with an over under of 45.5, that's 18 to 28. That's kind of like that's the score that they're kind of projecting. 28-18 is in favor of the Ravens. I mean, I get it, right? Russell Wilson, the shine is kind of wore off. Lamar Jackson,
4-game losing streak. You're on a 4-game losing streak.
Oh my goodness. Lamar Jackson, MVP consideration, right? They are looking good. With Derrick Henry being that, which one do you want to pick your poison? They have also got Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers with a knee injury recently.
They do get him back. They do get Zay Flowers back.
Oh, okay, so it's not he's not going to be out. Okay, so they're getting Zay Flowers back. They're going to have all their weapons. Mark Andrews back, Isaiah Likely. Yeah. So yeah, that offense, that defense is always pretty good. Special teams, they usually have the advantage, but Justin Tucker has been kind of shaky this year. So, that could be a toss-up. Oh, Chris Boswell definitely is the better kicker this year for the Steelers. The Steelers do have TJ Watt, right, on their defense. They got a bunch of different linebackers.
Fitzpatrick, they did steal
Fitzpatrick.
Pat Queen away. So
Pat Queen was getting, like, talked down on as, like, he can't be that guy if Roquan Smith wasn't there. But then Pat Queen left to the Steelers and Roquan Smith had like his worst season.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Who was responsible? For the good stuff. So yeah, it's this one. I feel like you said, the playoffs, right? So it's likely isn't gonna be a blowout, probably a 1-score game in favor of the Ravens.
They're rivals. It's tough because they're also just rivals in their division. And I think they play each other the toughest, but 4-game losing streak for Pittsburgh is tough, and they haven't
just tough to turn it on right now.
I mean, man, they've lost these games in like a manner in which you're like, man, you could have won those games, but you already knew they were going to lose it, even though they were close games. You're like, nah, Pittsburgh's not going to pull these out just because of the way they were playing. Um, Pickens has just been he was so bad in the last game. Like,
Oh man, you see, he needed 100 yards to get to 1,000, and at the end of the game, he needed 101 yards to get to 1,000.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Lost yards in the game. What a terrible game! What terrible timing to no show and be so off with your quarterback. They were talking in the locker room. Oh, these reporters are so freaking messy. They're talking. Hey, so Russ said you and him were not on the same page. This was like 2 weeks ago. This is before the last game. He's like, you and Russ are not on the same page. And he's like, you said we're not on the same page? He's like, well, he said that. And George Pickens is like, Russ said that we're not on the same page? He's like, yeah. So what's your response to that? And then he cut the interview and he walked out.
On outside?
And it was like, damn, they're about to they're having some drama, some beef. And then this game, Russ is like on his knees in front of George Pickens on the sideline and just trying to hype him up and tell him. And this fool's looking dejected, head down, because targeted 7 times, can't catch any of the balls, and just having a terrible game. But they know, I mean, I know Russ knows that he needs George Pickens, right? To have a chance at the Super Bowl for the Steelers, you need a GP to be that guy that takes he makes the offense kind of work.
When he's on, he's on. Like there's
unstoppable,
yeah,
right?
unstoppable.
Like Odell,
right.
How are you making those catches?
But look, they do have Mike Williams there. They do have Mike Williams.
But I mean, yeah, they have another guy that can run downfield, but George Pickens is Mike Williams if Mike Williams was Mike Williams right when he started his career. You know what I'm saying? Like, George Pickens is the key to unlocking a lot of that offense over the middles, because he's just a field tilter, kind of like Tyreek Hill. Not necessarily the speed, just you got to pay attention to him, because one guy usually isn't enough. But their offense just feels like it's falling apart. I don't know. The Steelers are going to be okay. I think the Ravens are going to win this comfortably. However, I want the Steelers to upset. I want all the wild card teams to win in the AFC. Because if the Chargers beat the Texans, the Steelers beat the Ravens, and the Broncos beat the Bills, then we're hosting the Steelers in the divisional round while the Broncos go to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I would love them to get a home game as a wild card team. That'd be crazy. What are your predictions for Steelers at Ravens Saturday night on Prime?
Go Baltimore.
Yeah.
Go Baltimore.
But you think it's going to be a big win?
I think it'll start off a good game, but I think ultimately the Ravens are just going to be too much for Pittsburgh, you know? Because if the other teams that they lost to were too much for Pittsburgh, I don't know if the rivalry will matter or, you know, so I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens by at least 17.
17?
17 points, man.
Wow. Okay. All right, so yeah, this guy's like, these guys suck. All right.
I just don't think they're in the right mind frame right now to win. Like you said, Russ, he's still a good quarterback in the league, but we all know he's not Russ. So yeah.
Yeah, that's who took a tackle instead of running out of bounds the other day. I was like, bro, get out of here.
I know. He also was like, yeah, you know, a lot of people are talking about this is stuff in the past, so I kind of don't want to talk about whatever's going on in the past. I want to talk about the stuff in the now. It's like, bro, these are the last 4 games they're asking you questions. Like, these 4 games you just played that they're asking you about.
It sounds like someone that does not want to be held accountable for their recent actions and decisions.
Exactly.
Hey, that happened back there. Okay,
yeah,
we're
moving
done. Forward. We're moving forward.
On
on to the Baltimore. Okay. All right, so those are the 2 Saturday games of Wildcard Weekend. Sunday, there are 3 games. The first game at 10 a.m. Pacific is Denver at Buffalo. Yeah, that's a pretty good, pretty early one for Buffalo. That's 1 o'clock Eastern time, or 1:30, whatever it is. Josh Allen versus Bo Nix. Josh Allen, MVP consideration, just the way that he wills that team, that offense to work. He has a really good offensive line, but his skill positions are kind of not rated as high as some of these other guys. He definitely doesn't have Derrick Henry, Zay Flower type Mark Andrews back there. He's working with Khalil Shakir. Shout out to him. Freaking catches everything. but small, not a high rated guy. Keon Coleman is a rookie. Some other gadget guys. James Cook is a really good running back, really good young running back, starting to make the turn. But Josh Allen is definitely the engine that makes that go. They won the AFC East a hell of a long time ago. They clinched it. They've been dominant. They only have a couple of losses, actually. Of their 3 losses, one came in week 4 to Baltimore. That one they got blew out 35-10. Their second came the week after in Houston, 23-20, and then in week 14 they lost to the Rams in a big shootout. So their 3 losses all on the road. Not going to be able to help Denver out there as they travel to Buffalo to play there in New York. Do you see any way that Bo Nix, Sean Payton can win this game?
No, I don't. Look, coming off of the win they just had, I know people are like, man, they beat the Chiefs, and I know a lot of people also understand that the Chiefs had some guys missing, but people are really
38-0.
Look, Mahomes didn't play. They had part of the defense missing. They had a lot of key guys. Look, it wasn't the Chiefs that you want to see them play. So you're supposed to beat them 38-0. Good for Denver. That's
a lot.
No, it's not, because we've seen them all season almost lose games. We've seen them all season give up points, but they've been winning with the guys that they're starters who play. So I understand it. People are like, oh, 38. Okay. They didn't have the guys. They didn't have the guys there. And if those guys aren't there, I applaud Denver for beating them 38-0, because that's what you're supposed to do when teams aren't at full strength. You take advantage of it. But going into the playoffs, I think it masks a lot of the things that they don't do, because coming off that win, people are just like, oh my gosh, 38, they're real. Okay, they made it to the playoffs. I'll give them that. But they're going to go against Denver, who's going to be playing at full strength, or at least close to full strength. You said it yourself. Josh Allen is a MVP candidate, and not just one of those guys at the end of the line MVP candidate. He's like top 3 MVP candidate. You know what I mean?
Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah. One or two. Yeah. It's either him or Lamar. I forgot.
Exactly.
They also have Amari Cooper at wide receiver.
And so they've got guys. They got Amari Cooper at receiver. I know you didn't mean to make it sound like you were down, because you weren't downplaying Shakur, but he catches it at a very high rate. He catches at a very high rate.
Conversion, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have I almost said the rookie, but the second year tight end, Dalton Kincaid, who's super good. And his relationship with Josh Allen is, I mean, he's been hurt, but also,
I had him in fantasy, so I'm like,
I know.
Guy. Come on. Dawson Knox shouldn't have a job right now if you're like super Kincaid, but
so look, like in fantasy, shitty. But defenses have to pay attention to him, so it opens up a lot for other guys. And James Cook really looks better than his brother right now. From a couple of seasons, like he might be better than his brother. Just his brother did it, I guess, at a time when running backs were like, "Oh my God, just run on."
Did Dalvin Cook ever have a good quarterback? Like, who was the best quarterback Dalvin Cook with the Vikings had? Kirk Cousins.
You know what? You're probably right. Kirk Cousins. That was his quarterback most of the time there. So,
yeah. If you were the Broncos coach and had control to stick, possible defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain Jr., the defensive back, on any of the, weapons of the Buffalo Bills, who are you having them shadow and lock up?
Man, I make him a safety, and he can pick who he wants to.
Get any of these.
Right. Just put him back there and be like, look, you pick who you trying to cover right now, because you're also right. They don't have like a star at wide receiver. They don't have a guy who is. If I had to pick, if you had to make me pick, it would be Amari Cooper, because he has the skills, but he also has the experience in the league, and and he's pretty much the replacement for Stephon Diggs. So
Oh, right.
Right.
My prediction for this one is going to be closer than people think because Bo Nix is like, I don't think he's going to have the nerves. He's like a senior citizen. He's a super senior that, he's a super rookie, right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
he's a
he's not a regular
grown.
rookie. You're right. He's not a
Yeah.
regular
He's
rookie.
not going to have the rookie nerves because he's
Right.
been in these big games, these big situations, even in college. And Sean Payton's in his ear, like telling him, like, you freaking got this. These guys, this is nothing, and it looks like he's super confident. Buffalo won 10 of 11 before last week. So they've definitely been in their winning ways, know what it takes to win a game. Josh Allen is kind of unstoppable. You have to score more than him. I think Matt Stafford had like 4 touchdowns versus him. But you got to score more than him. And sometimes it's hard on that defense. But I wonder if the Broncos are going to be able to pull it off. I hope they are because I want that home game for the Chargers. Selfish reasons, but I think it's going to be close. The Buffalo Bills are favored by 9 points, so kind of like a blowout, like the Ravens and Steelers is expected to be.
Right.
What is your prediction for Denver Broncos at Buffalo Bills on Sunday?
I think they'll be able to score, but I think Denver's defense, I don't know if they'll be able to stop Josh Allen. I think he ends up getting like maybe 2 or 3 running touchdowns against that Denver defense. So
if Nick Bonito of the Denver Broncos gets a like pick six or a fumble return for a touchdown, like Denver's odds should jump like 20%
for sure.
or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's gonna be crazy. Let's speak it into existence. What are the odds on that happening? I'm gonna bet on it. All right. The second game on Sunday, the Green Bay Packers at Philadelphia Eagles at 1:30 Pacific on Fox. The Eagles are favored by 4.5 points, over under 46.5. This is a rematch from their week 1 game. They played on Friday night of opening week in Brazil because it's illegal to play in the States on Fridays, unless you're like a school team. That in that game, Jordan Love got injured. We saw Malik Willis for the next 2 weeks for the Packers after that, before he came back. But that one finished 34-29. Jordan Love hurt on that last like second comeback attempt. And I feel like that was a whole season ago because it was, right? That's
pretty much
3-4 months ago. The Eagles went from like high-powered expectations to, uncharged lows, and now back to like getting things ramped up again with AJ Brown. Devontae Smith missed time. He's back now. Saquon Barkley, obviously the story of the engine that moves that offense, over 2,000 rushing yards, a reverse hurdle. He made a recent sleep mattress commercial based off of the thing. His ex-boss said, John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants in Hard Knocks.
I don't know how true the report was, but they were saying that he called Saquon and was like, "I'm insulted. You didn't ask me to be part of the commercial."
Yeah, they should have paid him, definitely. But yeah, John Mara hops off of the desk in his GM's office and said, "I'm going to have a hard time sleeping if we lose Saquon to the Philadelphia Eagles." And the GM was like, "Oh, that's never going to happen. It happens." And then Saquon has a record-breaking season. He's like only the 6th person ever to rush for over 2,000 yards, almost broke Eric Dickerson's record. So Saquon having a great season. They get the Green Bay Packers at home. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, shout out Josh Jacobs, former Raider. And then Christian Watson, I think number 9, the wide receiver, just had season-ending surgery.
Yeah, he was hurt. He got hurt pretty bad.
So, I mean, but the way that when he comes back, it kind of opens up everybody else. It's pretty worrisome to see him not be a part of the playoffs because, yeah, you do have Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Luke Musgrave, freaking the Tucker Kraft. But, there was something about Christian Watson, who's 6'4", 240, something like a huge prototype.
Plus, he was Jordan Love's like first guy when he got there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Been working together the longest. Yep.
They already lost Devontae, and then those two are really they were building a rapport with each other from that time on.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been his like favorite receiver. It just so happens that, like you said, uh, Watson opens up a lot for the other guys, but he's also very good at finding like all his receivers. Like you've seen different games where any one of those guys have gone off, or he's gotten off a lot of targets to like his whole receiving core. He doesn't really just target one guy. So that's another thing or that's one thing that the Packers fans have to look forward to is although Watson is out, Love is really good at finding his other guys. So whether or not they'll be able to get open without Watson in
Yeah.
there is a question. But
And you're going against that new Eagles secondary, right? Deshaun Cooper, Cooper DeJean, Deshaun Mustard,
Deshaun Mustard, they haven't
Cooper
been that great.
DeJean,
Yeah,
Quinyon Mitchell. Well, these guys are going to be the freaking. They're already starting quarterbacks. They're going to be the starters for a long time. I get they're trying to rebuild around them,
look,
and they have
I'm
the
a
Georgia guys up front,
I'm a
right?
Raiders fan. Just because you're a starter in the league doesn't make you great.
What?
I said I'm a Raiders fan. I know from experience. Just because you're a starter in the league doesn't make you good. So, um,
That's because you watch the Raiders.
hey, Cooper DeJean, Deshaun, the other white boy they got at safety, they're all right. They're gonna get better. I'm not gonna lie. It's scary to see them get better, but I like Jordan Love against them at least, right now. But the boys up front, that's who Jordan Love should really worry about. Carter up front. What's the other big boy from Georgia that plays on that line?
Jalen Carter.
And
Yep.
gosh,
Yep.
anyway, both guys,
Man,
Max. I
this,
know.
this thing says I'm on PFF. It says Cooper DeJean is the third. No, that can't be right. 33rd ranked. That's pretty good. 33rd ranked to have like a rookie up there.
I mean, you really just stick somebody over there and like he can do the minimal, but not to downplay him. I'm just saying that's my stance. He's good, but I don't think he's
I
anybody they have to worry about at the moment.
Eagles defense, I can see locking up an undermanned Packers wide receiver core, and also the Eagles offense controlling the clock versus Packers defense, who's lost Jair Wills Alexander. Jair, does that sound right?
Jair,
Jair Alexander.
yeah,
He had season injury surgery, or he was out.
yeah, he's their best
So
quarterback.
yeah, and now you got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith against backups. You got Saquon Barkley who's going to control the clock. I think the Packers sell out to stop the run, and the Eagles win this game big time through the air. But what do you think? What do you have as a prediction here? Packers at Eagles.
Nah, if you do what you do best, you stick with the run. It's not like you've been a great passing team all season anyway. You can pass. The Eagles can pass. Whether or not it's Jalen Hurts back there, that does count for something. But even with him back there, I think they're better suited to just give it to Saquon. Let Saquon, do what he does. And if you decide you want to run Jalen Hurts at the 1 yard line again, like you've been
Yeah.
doing all season, that's fine. It's been
Steeler.
working for them. Right, exactly. Thief. Uh,
Stop.
right.
Thief.
Oh, shit. But yeah, I think Philadelphia, like you said, I think they do pull out the win. Their defensive front is just they're too big, they're too strong. They get after the quarterback really well. We've seen the Packers, we've seen their line kind of falter at times during the year because obviously Jordan Love's been hurt, and the only reason he's hurt is because the line can't block a certain person. So, um, two really great D tackles on that team. Their linebackers, N'Kobe Dean, he plays pretty well at linebacker.
Yeah.
Uh, like
Jordan Davis.
mm, that guy is even bigger than Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's probably more. He's probably more talented though, obviously. But again, you talked about the corners, their backfield. I think the corners are talented enough, like you said, to hold a undermanned wide receiving core out of Green Bay. But if if Jordan Love attacks anybody, I think it's got to be Gardner Johnson because that guy is garbage.
DJ Gardner
Gar-
Johnson. Oh, they did bring
yeah,
it back. Yeah.
he is garbage. For all the shit that he talks, he's the weakest link in that defensive backfield. He's garbage. I would attack him if we're going to throw the ball. as Green Bay Packers. I think that's their weak spot. So attack him. But other than that, yeah, Philly right now I think is a better team and they're better equipped again for a slugfest.
Yeah.
I think both running backs are going to get a lot of work because Saquon,
One
the
of them's
more,
going to get work, and the other team is going to have to catch up.
well, I think they're both going to get worked. One of them is going to get worked, and the other one's going to have a good game. So, I my money's on Saquon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
All
like
right.
Philly by like I think at least a touchdown.
Nice. Washington Commanders. Shout out to the Ooze, Frankie Louvu.
Yup,
Career season there in his first year in Washington.
definitely.
Aside Bobby
Bobby Wag,
Wagner.
Wags.
But yeah, Jaden Daniels, obviously the rise of rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels looking like a star, reinvigorating, resurrecting Terry McLaurin, and even Zach Ertz, going
Yep.
against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 4 seed, the winners of the NFC South, Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans. Well, let's do this right now. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for like already having the game in hand, but with their star wide receiver 5 yards short of a $2 billion incentive. Instead of kneeling on the ball, Baker Mayfield throws this fool an out route, lets him go and cash in his money. They had already won the game. There was not enough timeouts to stop them from kneeling at the clock, but they decided to put the ball in the air on the line, risk losing the game, not winning the NFC South if something crazy happened. But getting somebody that means a lot to this team, his record 11th straight 1,000-yard season.
1,000-yard season.
Most importantly, I don't think he was doing it for the season streak. I think he was doing it for the incentive. But
for sure.
He spiked that ball. Everybody came around. All his teammates were even more happier for Mike Evans getting that catch and bonus than they were about freaking winning the NFC South and making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They were super hyped for him. I was hyped. I jumped off of the couch. And I looked back at Sammy. I was like, they did it. They did it. They got it to him. They did it. I can't believe it. I was super hyped.
This is why you're a better man than me, because I was just like, man, that's not my 2 million. I don't care.
Hey, I get real into it since I was like, oh, come on.
No, that's good to see, because those are the kind of franchises you want to play for. Like, guys talk about how horrible some franchises are. Like, we saw Dallas bench Cooper Rush, and he was all he needed to do was play the end of the game, towards the end of the game, and then he would have got 500,000. Not obviously, but yes, of course, he did get 250,000 for playing
45%,
but 45,
he needed to get to
53.
Like 50.
Yeah. So he got 250,000, but the guy
pulled him for no reason.
He's a career backup. He doesn't have the big contracts like that. Like, yes, love to see Mike Evans got a fat contract. The 2 million, I don't know what his financials are. May or may not even put a dent in it, but that's a lot of money, $2 million. So great to see him get it, even though he's got a fat contract.
When they cut to him on the sideline as the Buccaneers were stopping the Saints and shutting him down to win the game, he looked so sad and pissed off, dog. He was just like shaking his head, looking at the sideline and stuff. But then when they told him, hey, we're gonna get you that money, let's go. And man, it was I was so happy that happened.
That's cool. Again, I don't know, he could be in financial trouble, even though he's making tens
$2
of
million
dollars
for one more catch. Let me get one more catch, dog.
Right.
Come on, let's lock it up.
But you hate to see for guys in a franchise like Dallas,
and then you have the other hand where they're pulling a guy who has started all the games since Dak Prescott has been hurt, and you just pull him in the last week just to have Trey Lance audition for what?
That's what I'm saying.
Trey Lance probably hasn't thrown a pass in practice in freaking 5 months.
But look, Trey Lance make more money than Cooper Rush.
Oh, you see?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And Jerry Jones is going to play dumb like he didn't know that was happening. You believe him?
Not at all.
No, yeah.
Bro, they asked him if he would ever give up being GM of the team, and he's like, nah, I bought the team.
he I
That
don't know
goes to
why
show there's nothing that goes on in that organization he doesn't know about.
he wants to play. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. He wants to play GM instead of like winning GM, like hand it off to a professional. He wants to be like, oh, let me put together a football team roster.
Yeah,
Your rosters haven't won anything in 30 years. Uh, also, Jerry Jones goes to watch the Eagles divisional games in Philadelphia and is on the sideline, and the Eagles fans are like, "Hey, Jerry, good job,
I
Jerry.
saw
We
that.
love what
Yeah,
you do, Jerry. Keep doing what you're doing, Jerry. We love the moves
so
you make." Oh
that's what I'm
man, that's
saying.
hilarious. Hey, but he's a good sport. He was like, "I try not to disappoint you guys," like just making little jokes about it. But yeah, don't go to the games. They're gonna
Yeah,
rally you. But anyway, the Cowboys aren't in the playoffs. And
no,
that's probably a reason because good players don't really want to go play there anymore because of stuff like that. But
that's what I'm saying.
their division rival, the up and coming Washington Commanders, is going to be in Tampa Bay versus Baker Mayfield. Uh, any predictions on how that's going to end?
Yeah,
How that game's going to go Sunday night?
I'm glad the Bucks got the ball to him. They got to celebrate because they probably won't be celebrating after Sunday. I feel like no, I'm just kidding. I just said it like they didn't have a chance. I think if they play their game like big, I don't know. You want to debate whether or not Baker Mayfield is better than Jaden Daniels? I think Jaden Daniels is more
Or who's
talented.
gonna have
Right? Who's gonna
a
have a
better
better game?
game that night? That's all that matters. Yeah.
Look, if I'm throwing to Mike Evans and he's healthy, I think I'm a better off quarterback,
Yep.
honestly. The experience on that defense as well. The guy got, and when I say experience, because they don't have like what do the kids? They don't have sexy names on the defense, but they got guys who produce. They got guys who come in and play, and they got like the biggest man I've ever seen on a TV screen in Vita Vea showing up that middle. So if Brian Robinson is already averaging like really shitty games these past couple of games, I know this because he's my running back in fantasy. But he's also been banged
B
up.
Rob.
But I think they need a running game. Man, I haven't
Oh,
Eckler. How's Eckler been doing? If he's even back, did he have?
I think he came back. I think he came back. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. He was out. I think with a head injury. But I mean, so this is another game that is a week one rematch. In that game, that game in Washington. Oh no, sorry. That game in Tampa Bay
It was
also.
in Champa, yeah.
And Tampa won by 17, 37-20. In that game, Baker Mayfield 289 yards, Jaden Daniels had 88 rushing yards, but not a great game through the air. And Chris Godwin was the leading receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Him now on injured reserve.
Yeah.
I down here I got that like that game was before the rise of Jaden McDaniels. It was after the loss. I mean, it was before the loss of Chris Godwin. So these teams
Right.
are way different.
They're different. Different teams. Definitely.
I have Jaden Daniels looking cool under pressure, and the offense may be able to keep up with the Buccaneers, but same. If you got Mike Evans playing at such a consistently high level, it seems like Baker Mayfield should have an easier job. But I have seen this Washington team come back from 5 turnovers to win a game. I've seen them do that Hail Mary to win the game in the last seconds. I've seen them do all these crazy games that I feel like Jaden Daniels has been having like a standout season. And a lot of the moments are because of him scrambling around for 12 seconds before throwing that Hail Mary, keep coming back, throwing for 5 touchdowns versus 5 team turnovers. I think Jaden Daniels is going to find a way to win this game. I also want to root for Frankie Louvu the whole time. So that might be part of it. But I think I have Washington getting the upset in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay also, was down 10 points to the Saints yesterday. So there is a possibility that they, get snuck up on and maybe aren't able to recover, or they aren't able to create much space, and then Jaden Daniels strikes at the last second to take the lead, something like that. So I got Washington. I got the Commanders in a shocker. I'd love to see them advance to the divisional round at least.
I like it. I too, for the same reasons, want to cheer for Washington, but I'll play devil advocate since you picked Washington. I'll pick Tampa by 14, just because I think they got some
Damn.
Hey man, it's not fun playing devil's advocate if you don't do something crazy. But I like Mike Evans. I like their running game too.
Oh, Bucky Irving,
I like Bucky Urban a little better out there working for them. So
Frankie Louvu.
and Vita Vea is big. I do deep down in my heart, you already know.
Yeah.
We want Frankie to win, but for the sake of the
It's going to
show,
be up to him. You stop Bucky Irving. You force the throws to Mike Evans, which you can
that's what
focus
I'm
on and
saying.
lock down. So this one's up to the Oos. Number 4,
I like Jaden McDaniels. I think his
Jay
confidence
McDaniels.
is what's his name? Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some pretty bad McDaniels in
You just
my
have some bad Jay McDaniels in your
right.
life.
But I think his calmness, his coolness, his confidence
Yeah.
stems from like the rest of the team. So if they're doing their business like they've been, I do expect them to play a good game. But I think if he gets into a little trouble early, you know, it might spell a little trouble for him. So
Sure.
if the Bucks defense can go ahead and put some pressure on him early, I mean, it might create some problems for them throughout the game. But I expect a good game.
See.
So
We'll see what Cliff Kingsbury has dialed up, what the virtual reality training does for Jaden
right
Daniels. I think
for
even
Jaden
if it's
Daniels.
like crazy in the beginning, there's going to be something at the end where he just turns it on and pulls the win out there. But that's at 5 o'clock
So,
NBC. That's a Sunday night football game. The final game of Super Wildcard Weekend, Monday night, January 13th, the Minnesota Vikings travel to SoFi to face the Los Angeles Rams at 5 o'clock on ESPN. Minnesota is a 2.5-point favorite there in LA. This is a rematch from Week 8, Thursday Night Football, 20-30, Los Angeles. Puka and Cup. I think this was Puka Nakua's first game back. And it was the first time Stafford looked like himself again after getting his weapons, after having to throw to like freaking Jordan. I don't even remember the names
Tutu
anymore.
Atwell.
Tutu Atwell made a comeback for a minute this
He
year. That was
did. He
crazy.
did. He did. He did.
Yeah, but Stafford had 4 touchdowns in that game. Maybe like a veteran quarterback seeing that Brian Flores blitz defense and easily being able to kind of read it and react to it, possibly, because we know that Flores has the high blitzing, um, different pressures, different looks, kind of confuses people, confuses the blockers, leading to free rushes, leading to bad throws for interceptions. Cam Bynum, shout out to the back, the Vikings secondary, Byron Murphy. Those guys have been really locking stuff down, and that's off of quarterbacks being super confused, right, and throwing up ducks or throwing it to places where they think no defender is, and
Right.
actually, one of the purple guys are there, for an interception or a turnover. So maybe you don't get that same kind of panic from a guy like Matt Stafford. Maybe that is the antidote to the Brian Flores defense, is a quarterback that's not scared to just sit there, sling it. Yeah, take a hit. He's like, I know somebody is coming from somewhere. I don't know where, which is scary, but Matt Stafford, definitely one of the toughest guys in the NFL. Getting old though, hearing like retirement talk rumors, maybe it's over. Maybe he wants to relax a bit. Yeah, shout out to the Bulldog, freaking Matt Stafford.
Oh, whatever.
What do you have as a
Whatever.
prediction? What do you have as a prediction for Monday night's game, Vikings at Rams?
I think Minnesota's too loaded on the offensive side of the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen them get stopped this year, but I think they got it. I think I
Sam
like
Darnold,
Sam
Aaron
Darnold.
Jones, Justin Jefferson,
Sam
Jordan
Darnold's been good to
Addison.
me all season long in fantasy, so you know what I mean.
Biased.
You know what I mean. He got me. He helped me win a championship.
Hey,
You know what I
champ.
mean. Hey, I didn't call it. You did, but I like Minnesota. For the same reasons that you just said. I know Matt Stafford he's a different quarterback. He's older. He's more composed back there. But I think the way that Brian Flores has these guys working on third down, man, they're crazy. Even if they don't get to him, the pressure that they create on third down, it's pretty good. So I like Minnesota right now. I think they're just too loaded to look. They do have Cup. They do have Nakul, but Cup's been, as my nephew said last night, Cup has been buns these last two games.
It was
He's
Buns.
he's been cheeks these last two games.
Who had a
So
0 in the first round of the fantasy playoffs?
you know what? I'm not even gonna talk
That's
about
crazy.
how some fool
That's crazy.
traded him to me, and then all of a sudden he's buns. You know.
It happens, man. I thought it was.
Nah, that was a good trade because the game right after the trade, I think he had like 30 points. I think like the game after. So, but I do think man, yeah, I think it's Minnesota's time right now. It was LA's. If it's a grinded out game though, if it's a dogfight, I like
Oh
the
yeah,
Rams
yeah,
for that. But
yeah, yeah.
I don't think the Minnesota's gonna let it get to that. So I like Minnesota, man. I like Minnesota.
And an unflappable quarterback might be the only thing that can kind of de-blitzify
Right.
Brian Flores' offense. I can see the Rams somehow figuring out a way to get the win there.
And Darnold didn't have a great game this last game he just played, but I think Darnold's gonna have another like 4 touchdown game this game around.
You think this is Darnold's turnaround game where he's going to pick it back up?
Yeah, because I mean,
Rebound game.
yeah. What did he have the game before this last game? I think he had like 3 or 4. So I think he gets back on track, and I think he's on the level to get another 3 or 4 touchdown game.
Yeah, on in my notes, I was thinking, Rams scrappy enough to keep up, but ultimately the Vikings defense beats them. But I'm kind of second guessing that, so I can see a Rams upset. Dan Campbell, after winning this game and taking the first seed, the number 1 seed in the NFC, him and Kevin O'Connell met in midfield, and the first thing he said was, "I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, man." Shout out to Motor City Dan Campbell. That fool's
So basically, he
winning
went,
with a graveyard. Guys got
man.
everybody's hurt. Still winning games. That's crazy. Also
Basically,
cashed a 66x bet for me. I put $5 on the Chiefs. Freaking, I couldn't bet the Bills because the Bills were already locked in. But the Chiefs, the Texans, the Ravens came back and took the AFC North. And then I got all the NFC division winners right when Tampa Bay kind of won it. Oh, and then Detroit was the last one that I was like, obviously they're going to win their division, the NFC North. But it came down to the last freaking game of the year.
what was the payout?
It was $330 for
Oh,
$5.
nice. That's a good payout.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks were in the lead. The Falcons were in the lead. So some shifting definitely happened. But most of those guys were favorites. The Chiefs freaking had it pretty much locked up. The Texans eventually locked up quickly after. I placed it like Thanksgiving.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then it worked out.
Damn. It'd be
So
crazy if you
straight to
place
my
it.
bills. I'm gonna keep $20 in there to keep making these dollar bets.
See, you shouldn't have said that because it's exactly where my winnings from the fantasy league is gonna go to. So thanks a lot for that.
The
For
Bills.
reminding me, right?
The Bills.
And not the Buffalo
And
Bills.
not the Buffalo ones.
The government ones.
The electricity, the
Right.
utilities. Yeah, so that's what we think is going to happen. Super Wildcard Weekend. That is a big preview. We'll definitely be back next week with exactly what happens, who is advanced, what to expect from the divisional round. And then also we're going to be following the Chargers, the Raiders, everything else in the NFL throughout the offseason. So definitely stick with us here on the Polytickin Network. Definitely subscribe to this channel. So you can
Yes.
catch all the shows, the Polytickin Podcast, Pacific Movie Starter Kit, this more. Definitely support the Patreon, the Polytickin Patreon. $5 a month.
It's
If
worth
you,
it, man. It's worth
I
it.
mean, what is $5 a month anyway? Like 2 McDoubles? Come on, shoot us
Okay,
some
hey,
McDoubles.
wait. When you say it like
3
that,
McDoubles?
maybe I might cancel my
3
You'll get two
McDoubles a
McDoubles.
month? Come on. No, 1 McDouble every 10 days.
That's
Yeah,
a lot,
definitely.
man.
We're trying to find more people. We're trying to get more people in there to support, so we can use that for better equipment, better experience and better quality of our content.
Better everything.
And that definitely, supports us to make that possible. So
For sure.
spread the word. Support the Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Polytickin Network. You can also rate us 5 stars and share us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Yeah, and let us know. Let us know how we're doing. Any topics you want to hit? Definitely DM us at Ballinesian, or hit us at Ballinesian@gmail.com. Talk about any sort of sports, any shout outs that you have for people that are doing amazing things, any community service bulletins you want to put out. Definitely let us know what those are, and we can kind of at least put them here on the show, on the network, and kind of spread that information. Any shout outs before we go?
Oh yeah, man, big one. Shout out to my niece Levalasi. She turned 9 yesterday, January 5. She's over here running around. She's smiling at me now. She's like, "No, don't tell people." But yeah, we had a little get together here with family at the house, and she's super cool. She's probably about to get into some content making. She's
Hey,
part of the YouTube, TikTok age group, I guess. Not age group, but yeah,
generation.
yeah. Damn it. I can't even remember these things.
Hey, we're from an
Uh,
older generator.
right. Well, shout out to Junior Tuialamaka, who number 44 plays for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. About to had a great game against Georgia. About to go play in the semifinals against Penn State. He coming out of high school, he was super highly rated. Ended up being like maybe third pass rusher on the defensive side this year for Notre Dame, and because of injuries and other things, he ends up being like the I guess second pass rusher on the team starting,
Nice.
and just a real great story of like perseverance and trusting in your coaches in an age where we see guys jump into the uh, transfer portal, like literally guys commit to a team, decommit, sign with another team.
Sign with Oregon.
2 weeks
Decommit.
later, not even
Sign
two
with
weeks,
Cal.
but we signed with Cal back to the team he signed with. Hey, look, this is no shade to you, Jaron Calvi, or some bullshit. I wish you the best. I'm glad you're back at Cal
Yeah.
because it's probably the best place for you. But
But
yeah,
you want
like,
to see some stick with it.
oh my gosh, yo, if you're not gonna go to the school you're gonna go to, don't commit. Don't commit. The easiest that I know that you guys do that because you guys want to hold the spot at the school you're at, for the
Just in
longest as long as
case.
you can, right? Because that's the school you really want to go to. But my thing is just if the school really wants you, they'll wait for you to actually commit. Just wait. Just wait. Don't commit. Go take your visits, and then you won't have me defending you in a Twitter battle with somebody talking bad about Polynesian kids. To be honest, like, bro, if I know where you live, not just kidding.
Ah,
But yeah, and then also shout out to him, number one rated kid in Hawaii, which is crazy to think of. That he's also a 5-star quarterback coming out of Hawaii. Uh, Great to see him. I wish he would have stayed home at UH to play, but it's tough. UH is they have a tough battle just trying to sign the best kids in Hawaii. So, yeah. But and shout out to Notre Dame because I was doubted all season long when I was cheering for them. Not on this show. Lance has been very supportive, even though we smacked the smack out of his
okay.
Trojans.
How many
Uh,
teams left are in the college football playoff?
four teams left. This is
Yeah,
the
Final
semifinals.
Four.
Final four. We got Notre Dame versus Penn State. They play Thursday, and then we'll have. I almost said Oregon. Sorry, Oregon fans. That would have hurt your feelings. We have Ohio State. We have Ohio State playing Texas on Friday, and
Did you hear
when
that they painted the Oregon O red
wow,
before the game?
I did it. Oh, it was to match. Yes, to match the Rose Bowl. It wasn't. It wasn't Ohio State, but
Oh, I would not have allowed that if I was Oregon.
right. They said it might have been the committee because of the Rose Bowl.
No,
Um,
thank you.
so yeah,
No,
that was dumb.
that is
But
way too close to your opponent's symbol. But
right,
yeah, shout out to Notre Dame. Good luck in the freaking Final Four matchup, man. That's
hell
close. You're
yeah,
close. You're getting there. Two
hell
more
yeah,
wins.
hell
Let's
yeah. I'm
see.
not gonna.
Martin Freeman. I saw Martin Freeman in a linebacker drill.
It's cool. Yeah, Marcus Freeman was there too.
Or
But
Marcus.
see the disrespect these USC Trojans have.
Freeman. Yeah. All right. Get those Lions. Get those Nittanies.
And no matter what happens, we'll have our first black coach in the college playoff championship um, come this Sunday. Anyway, it'll be the first
They're
black
all
college.
They're all black college coaches.
Franklin from Penn State and Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame will play each other. So either one gets it.
Them. Okay.
And then also our first Asian coach because Marcus Freeman is also part Korean. So nice to see.
I didn't know James Franklin was black.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look hard. Not just kidding. He is. He is. So great to see. Great to see. Good things happening. Nice. Man, good thing happening. And you know what? And before we go, no shout out to everybody who works at Fox Sports. That's all I have to say.
Hey. Yeah, let's see exactly. I got to read exactly what's going on over there.
Before we actually talk about it. But
yeah. Shout out to Pro Bowlers, Tampa Bay defensive tackle Vita Vea, and Lions right tackle Penei Sewell for making it to the game. I know they're going to want to be not playing in the Pro Bowl. Hopefully their teams are in the Super Bowl, but shout out to them for being freaking excellent as always. Also, shout out to the Chicago Bulls brass or PR team for retiring living legend Derrick Rose's number one.
Still the youngest MVP in the league. Still the youngest MVP in the league.
Oh, what could have been.
What could have been. And then like I told you guys earlier, watching him react is also crazy. Like that alone puts tears in my eyes. But like having him come into the office, he didn't know what was going on, and then telling him that they're gonna retire his number, especially with how there was a big thing about how they traded him. Like he didn't even know he was being traded. He didn't want to leave. So he found out, I think he found like someone called him. Like it wasn't even the team that called him and told him to like get on the news and see what's going on, the way he was traded. And then just he's been so quiet in the NBA. Like he's been a really steady contributor. After getting hurt, he wasn't the superstar he was, but he was still in like at least like the top 20 in the league for a while. And then after that, it was just a steady contributor. So great to see him honored like that from the city that he's from. Went to Simeon High School, started out there, and then ended up getting drafted by the Bulls out of Memphis. Crazy. And then winning the MVP while I was there. So shout out to him. That's a good shout out. Damn it, you beat my shout out again.
No, that was for you.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's dope, man, to see how much he means to that city and the way the fans react.
Yeah.
How the team still cherishes him. He's got that flower shop he just opened, Roses.
And, it couldn't have happened at a better time because it all happened within like the same week. Mm-hmm. He had the flower shop open up. That went crazy. Like they had to cut off the line at a certain point because it was so crowded. It was going down the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Got to play in his final game at Simeon with his son, Simeon High School. They honored him there and then have his number retired. So super fire for a great career. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you have any shout outs that you want to hear us read out here on air or on YouTube or on the show, definitely tap in Ballinesian@gmail.com. Yeah, follow, support. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. This is our Super Wildcard Weekend preview episode. Man, I'm so excited about the playoffs starting.
I am too.
Freaking nervous.
I am too. Also, if you guys want a fun fact, before Lance moved up here, I used to listen to Lance on the radio, give out shout outs and birthday greetings on the radio station in American Samoa, and still so cool to me that I get to be on here, have him do it on here, shout outs. So pretty cool. If you guys were in American Samoa,
these are professional shout outs, guys. Come on.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. KSBS, one of the great voices on
KSJ.
I know.
The 92, the dedications. Welcome to Smooth Jazz.
Hey, man. But yeah, Lance was at KSJ. He was also on one of my favorite shows ever called Flight Night. If you guys have the time, go look it up on YouTube.
You just shut down. I think the website shut down. Shout out to 2K. You got to hit him up. You got to DM him for special.
I think they're on his his YouTube page.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some clips that.
Yeah.
Classic. Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints? Tap in, let us know. DM us at Ballinesian. And we'll see you guys next week for the divisional round. Thanks for tapping in. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
Stay Irish.
Yeah.